Manhood is measured in brawn, virility, and physical dominance. Society lauds those with broad shoulders and firm handshakes. Yet this fixation on the body often obscures the greater truth in muscles, may move mountains, but character shapes destiny. A man's strength is not merely what he can lift or how he looks. It's the unyielding integrity he embodies, the moral compass that guides him when no one is watching. Physical prowess can draw admiration, evoke respect, and even serve practical ends, carrying loved ones in emergencies, protecting others, tackling arduous labor. But when our sense of identity is anchored to our physique alone, we risk building our very esteem on unstable soil. Bodies sag, age, injury strikes. And when that happens, what remains? If a man's value is tied to muscle, he may crumble under life's inevitable shifts. Yet one defined by values. Honesty, fairness, courage stands tall in any storm. We live in a time when many men work behind screens, not plowshares. When strength is measured in keystrokes, not deadlifts. Still, there is merit in physical strengthening. It promotes health, vitality, mental resilience. But its greatest contribution is in what it teaches: self-discipline, delayed gratification, pain tolerance, humility. Those scorching early mornings at the gym, the fatigue that follows, the iron that resists, these are not ends in themselves. They are crucibles in which character is forged. Struggle shapes tenacity, consistency cultivates resolve. Each rep echoes the message: a man who overcomes himself gains mastery. Yet let us not fall into the trap of conflating strength with virtue. History bears record of men large in stature but bankrupt in principle. Tyrants flex their power, yet cowered before truth. Genuinely strong men are not those who crush others. They uplift them. It takes far more courage to restrain one's dominance, to listen, empathize, and lead gently. A firm handshake may impress, but a dependable word endures. A cultivated mind, a compassionate heart. These are weightier than any barbell. Academic research confirms what character teachers have long known: virtues like honesty, empathy, responsibility, and resilience underpin real flourishing. Boys who grow into men admired not for their aggression, but for their decency, showcase forms of strength that echo beyond muscle. Strength manifests in integrity, keeping promises when no one else cares, in taking blame with grace, in facing failures without shame, in opening one's heart to others, even when guarding feels safer. In adolescence, especially, the old script looms: be tough, hide your feelings, don't be weak. But what if the real path to resilience lies through emotional openness? Studies show that young men today value models who blend courage with vulnerability. They seek role models who, while strong, also show sorrow, fear, and compassion. Strength is no longer a rigid shell. It is flexibility in adversity, capacity for growth in struggle. When a man cultivates character, he gains the backbone to confront injustice. He intervenes when someone is bullied. He raises his voice when silence feels easier. He sacrifices personal comfort to serve others. These acts speak louder than any display of might, the perception. They signal that beneath the outward strength lies a moral backbone, unbent by fear or convenience. Some may say that physical strength makes such moral action possible, that without capacity to defend yourself, you cannot defend others. There is merit in that, but it is character that decides when and how that strength is used. A brawny man without principle risks becoming bull-headed man, principled even if slender, carries confidence, conviction, and the grace to course correct. True power lies in knowing your strength and then choosing to lead with kindness. As life advances, bodies change, strength fades. Options narrow, yet man's character, care, his reputation for generosity, courage, authenticity grows. It nourishes friendships, fortifies partnerships, and inspires younger generations. A father remembered not for his deadlift record, but for the lessons in honesty and responsibility he passed on, leaves a legacy that defies age. So how do we live this ideal? Begin by tuning into values. Ask yourself, are you honest when it matters most? Do you show empathy to those suffering? Do you treat people fairly, including when it costs you? When tempted to cut corners, do you relent? This inner lens keeps character active. Still, we don't diss physical effort. It serves body, mind, and spirit. A regular routine of movement, challenge, and recovery boosts mental health, sharpens focus, and disciplines action. But each workout is no mere vanity project. It's a test of patience, perseverance, humility. You fail, you recover, you try again. You learn that success often emerges not from inspiration, but persistence. What if everyone aimed to match physical effort with moral effort? We'd have men who hit the gym not just to build muscle, but to build steadiness, who lift the fallen not to show force, but to demonstrate service, who speak firmly not to intimidate, but to guide. This is strength aligned with virtue, quiet, confident, accountable. We look to historic leaders who changed the world not by weapons, but by ideas and character. Modern men can learn from them. Strength is fine, but when paired with humility, compassion, and integrity, it becomes transformative. Character doesn't require applause. It thrives in silence, doing the right thing without fanfare. It speaks softly, but leaves a mark. It weathers the storms. Knowing the course is just values trust over prestige, kindness over dominance, service over self-aggrandizement. Ultimately, to be a man is to stand for something greater than yourself. It is to build a foundation so resilience isn't just physical, but moral. It is to carry values into the workplace, community, home. When challenged, visible strength may hold ground, but character holds purpose. It inspires others to believe, to try. If you wish to grow stronger, lift a weight. If you wish to be strong, build your character. Let every action reflect fairness, every word reflect honesty. Let your body support your calling, your strength serve your values. That is what it truly means to be a man. A truly strong man understands that emotional intelligence and vulnerability aren't weaknesses. They're essential forms of inner strength. Emotional awareness begins tuning into your own feelings, noticing what stirs in your heart and mind during stress, anger, fear, or joy. That self-awareness is the foundation. It offers the freedom to pause, breathe, and choose a response aligned with your values rather than being hijacked by impulse. Learning to name what you feel is powerful. It transforms overwhelming emotions into manageable signals. Instead of letting sorrow, anxiety, or anger swell, you recognize them, speak them, and allow them to pass. This simple act of expression reduces their intensity and brings clarity. Acknowledging rather than bottling emotions prevents explosive outbursts and chronic tension. It's a daily practice that builds resilience. True emotional strength also means empathy, understanding what others experience. When you tune into someone else's emotional state, trust blossoms. You become someone people lean on, not because you're stoic and untouchable, because you're present and genuinely connected. Empathy doesn't blur boundaries, it strengthens them. It enables you to support others from a grounded place of understanding. Vulnerability is courageous. It might feel uncomfortable to share that you're hurting, afraid, or unsure. But it's in that honesty that bonds deepen. Authenticity pierces through superficiality. A man who says, "I'm struggling," invites trust. He signals maturity, someone who can hold his own while also holding space for others. Emotional courage earns more respect than hidden toughness. Holding emotions in is like carrying weight no one else sees. It damages mental well-being over time. Stress, anxiety, even depression often stem from emotional suppression. Yet by allowing yourself to feel and express, you protect your mental and physical health. Releasing emotions through honest conversation, journaling, or reflection prevents them from building into unmanageable stress. Or worse, physical illness. These skills build mental resilience. When adversity hits, loss, failure goes, you're not knocked off your feet because you know yourself, you feel deeply, and you've practiced navigating discomfort. That inner steadiness lets you rebuild, adapt, and grow stronger rather than breaking under pressure. Young men today are seeking different role models. They look up to individuals who blend strength with emotional openness. They admire men who stare fear in the face, share their journey, and stay accountable. These men don't fit the old mold. They're redefining masculinity by showing how confidence and vulnerability can coexist. Creating emotional fluency also disrupts unhealthy norms. It challenges hypermasculine ideals that equate strength with emotional insensitivity. Instead, it creates cultures of support where asking for help isn't shameful. It's smart. Shared emotional awareness reduces loneliness and promotes healthier relationships. As a leader, whether among friends, family, or colleagues, emotional intelligence is what sets you apart. It's the ability to listen deeply, regulate your mood, admit mistakes, and stay calm under pressure. It's not charisma, it's magnetic steadiness. People follow a man who sees, understands them, and values authenticity. Vulnerability can feel risky. You might fear judgment, rejection, or dismissal. That's exactly why it takes such power to be open. Saying, I don't have all the answers, shows humility. Admitting you need support demonstrates trust. Owning your mistakes shows integrity. Those acts shine brighter than bravado ever could. Emotionally intelligent men form more fulfilling relationships. Partnerships deep-rooted in mutual understanding trump those built on surface-level attraction. Children learn vulnerability is okay. Friendships deepen. Bonds of trust form when people feel seen, not just heard. And those relationships build communal strength. Emotionally mature men also have better mental health outcomes. They're more likely to seek help when needed, less likely to spiral into isolation, and better equipped to handle life's emotional piece. This isn't softness. It's self-care, discipline, and a strategic investment in your well-being. Building emotional intelligence is a process, not an endpoint. It starts with pausing, observing your inner state, and naming a feeling. It unfolds through honest conversations with yourself and others. And it strengthens through practice when you resist the urge to shut down and choose openness instead. Over time, what once felt vulnerable becomes natural, even empowering. This path doesn't make you less masculine. It makes you more human, more complete, more capable of connecting, leading, and thriving. In emotional intelligence and vulnerability lies a power that neither muscle nor bravado can rival: the power to live with purpose, presence, and true strength. Building real strength begins in moments of challenge, when fear, doubt, or discomfort knock at your door. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. It involves understanding the risk, embracing it, and moving forward for a meaningful cause. This is moral courage, standing up for right principles, even when it confers popularity or safety. True courage reveals itself not in isolation, but in our willingness to carry responsibility, even when no one else will. When you assume responsibility for your words, actions, and impact, you grow in integrity. It's answering the call to care for loved ones, contribute to community, and protect the vulnerable. In doing so, you embody the virtue that gives trust its foundation and makes leadership possible. Service, not self-interest, defines real leadership. Men who lead with service recognize that strength is not about support, but they use their abilities and influence to lift others, defend fairness, and offer their time and talent for the common good. That modern warrior isn't waging literal war. It's confronting injustice, mentoring the young, and speaking truth in small moments. Emotional intelligence plays a vital role here. It lets you sense when someone needs help, empathize with their struggle, and choose a caring response over indifference or ego. Courage and empathy work hand in hand. You'll only stand up for others if you notice their pain, and you'll only help others if you care enough to risk stepping into the unknown. Research shows that when men step into moral responsibility, they not only benefit others, they also thrive. Taking ownership shapes confidence and resilience. When you face consequences head on, learn from mistakes, and offer support, your self-esteem grows through the integrity of your actions. That inner alignment is what truly builds unshakable strength. Practically speaking, this looks like small daily acts, facing an uncomfortable conversation instead of avoiding it, admitting an error instead of covering it up, volunteering time, skill, or attention without fanfare. Over time, these actions form habits of helpful presence. People begin to see you as dependable, principled, and trustworthy. A man who stands face to face with difficulty, not around it. The impact extends far beyond you. When others observe a man willing to shoulder burden, say difficult truths, and offer practical aid, they're inspired to do the same. Children, friends, colleagues. They learn that courage isn't frightening but purposeful. Responsibility isn't burden but privilege. Service isn't sacrifice but meaning. In sum, to be a man means engaging your personal strength for more than yourself. It's about confronting fear, owning consequences, and using your power to serve others. That blend of courage, accountability, and compassion is a rare and lasting form of strength. One that protects, connects, and uplifts. Want me to illustrate this with real-life examples? Make it speech-ready or connect it specifically to leadership or fatherhood. There's a growing realization that strength without compassion is incomplete. The ideal of the strong man, resilient, assertive, protective, must evolve, not vanish. What if the strongest among us also led with humility, kindness, and a commitment to equality? This isn't softness, it's mature strength, calibrated, nuanced, and socially attuned. Men raised to embody traditional masculinity often learn to value self-reliance above all else, and emotional expression is discouraged. But research shows that emotional literacy, being aware of one's own feelings and able to show empathy, is linked to better mental health and stronger interpersonal bonds. Studies exploring how men form emotional connections reveal that those who cultivate compassion and equality enjoy deeper relationships, improved mental resilience, and a sense of belonging, in contrast to men socialized to suppress empathy and pride themselves on emotional detachment. Imagine a man standing up for someone being bullied. Not out of aggression, perception, but out of justice. He doesn't leap in to dominate. He listens, asserts dignity, and defends values. True strength lies in the intentional choice to support rather than overpower. Ancient warrior models often lacked this nuance. They prized conquest more than care. But a more evolved model shows that the greatest power is the power to uplift. Groups like the Men Enough campaign underline this shifting, men unlearning harmful stereotypes and adopting roles as allies in gender equality by showing compassion, respect, and co-responsibility at home and in public. These efforts promote a version of masculinity that rejects dominance and control and instead affirms empathy, reflection, and shared care. Even in small, everyday interactions, the impact is clear. A man who listens attentively to a spouse, supports colleagues through failure, or includes others at a gathering is enacting a balanced strength. It's the difference between saying, "Let me fix that for you," and asking, "How can I support you?" One is domineering, the other is partnership. Research supports this. Studies in cooperative behavior show that benevolence, small acts of kindness toward others, predicts greater cooperation and trust, universally valued traits that build lasting relationships. This isn't token pity. It's mutual strength, cultivated through generosity of spirit. When men act from awareness and equity, others respond by trusting and reciprocating, not because of obligation, but because of shared values. Changing perceptions about male roles isn't just personal. It ripples socially. A survey of young men found that nearly half are seeking emotionally vulnerable role models instead of stoic archetypes. They admire men who express their real selves, who openly discuss fears or failure, and who nurture meaningful connections. That shift signals more than a personal preference. It reflects a generation ready to elevate kindness to a core trait of manhood. Health professionals have shown that rigid gender norms, expecting men to suppress feelings and avoid vulnerability, lead to higher rates of isolation, depression, and even suicide. Contrast that with men who embrace emotional breadth. They report greater belonging, healthier friendships, and more balanced lives. They understand that forgiveness, compassion, and openness aren't signs of weakness, but hallmarks of a mature man. Equality is a necessary companion to kindness. True strength champions the rights and dignity of all people. Men with egalitarian beliefs are more likely to intervene against discrimination in both subtle and overt forms. They harness their privilege not to dominate, but to dismantle unfair systems. That might mean using voice to call out sexism or stepping back to let others lead. This active allyship isn't passive. It's a strength that fosters trust and justice. Healthy masculinity recognizes the value of emotional expression without dismissing the power of action. It's a balance, being protective without possessiveness, being assertive without aggression. A sportsman who loses graciously, hugging his opponent, models that strength and respect march hand in hand. This mature response honors both competition and compassion, a testament to inner strength. These shifts also benefit relationships. Romantic partners report more satisfaction when men share responsibilities and exhibit kindness, whether it's active caregiving, household chores, or emotional labor, GQ.com. Children modeled emotional maturity by witnessing caring fathers. Breaking generational cycles of rigid gender roles. Friendships deepen when vulnerability is embraced. Men bond over shared emotions, not just shared activities. On a broader level, communities built around balanced masculinity thrive. Programs and campaigns like Equimindos, Men Enough, foster spaces where men can talk openly about mental health, challenge stereotypes, and become agents of gender justice. Countries with progressive paternity leave and fatherhood initiatives, like those promoted by policymakers in the UK, demonstrate that active, emotionally invested men make healthier families and societies. The Guardian. Calm. This redefined strength is not about losing, it's about sharing it. When men act with humility, they inadvertently demonstrate courage. It takes more backbone to step out, acknowledge biases, learn, and adapt. Releasing rigid roles frees space for collaboration, creativity, and true leadership. It empowers others to rise, showing that strength lifts rather than silences. Modern strengths are sacred egg, protecting, but not controlling, leading, but not dictating, speaking, but also listening. They are expressed through everyday kindness, helping someone without agenda, holding space for emotion, and treating people equally and fairly. These are quiet acts that over time have the power to remake norms, relationships, and systems. In the end, strength without compassion is brittle, like steel without flexibility, destined to break when stress comes. But strength blended with kindness and equality is resilient, generative, humane. It builds trust. It fosters belonging. It unlocks potential. This is the strength that truly sustains, of man, of community, of culture. And it's the one most worth cultivating.